It was quite late arrived at home after Tyria went to somewhere else. "I am home," Tyria said at the door when she finally arrived. But no one answered her this time. Would it be possible that Aunt Kresta fell asleep? It's quite normal to be asleep, for it's already after 10 p.m. She went inside and put her luggage on the desk. Then she took the paper copied last night out of her pocket to check it out. Though it was a little dangerous at the last moment, this investigation had been done quite successfully. Give this paper to Sheerith tomorrow. She ate some snack and went to the second floor quietly to avoid interrupting Aunt Kresta. Worrying. In order to relax herself totally, she laid her whole body down on the bed and closed her eyes, thinking about what had happened last night and clearing up the related people's information. Among them, there was someone that Tyria cared a lot. Who was he? I don't like any of these people. Tyria obviously cares about the strange thief. That's weird. And I don't like the prince either. I definitely don't care about the old man. Is the old man a dateable option? Is he? I'm just gonna say the prince. I don't know. I don't like this. Prince Lantis, as the prince of the kingdom of Biru. I don't know if we'd been told the name of the kingdom yet. Maybe we had. I don't remember knowing that it was Birubalad. As the prince of the kingdom of Birubalad, he was always respected and adored by the women in his country. It's said by the rumor that he was quite popular among women. She didn't think he was just the one people were talking about when they first met. She only thought he was so handsome, but nothing else. Tyria never thought that Prince Lantis was such a frivolous person, because the prince in reality was quite different from the perfect one she'd imagined. Tyria felt quite disappointed. It'd be perfect if he takes women more seriously. If so, then what should be to say? Tyria felt she couldn't pull herself out from this phantom thief thought, so she shook her head hardly to give it up. We weren't talking about the phantom thief. Huh? Until now, she had never thought about the feeling between men and women and had no idea what it was like to be seeing someone. Though she had talked about such type of topic with colleagues at work, she had never thought to know it deeply. Plus, there was a large identity gap between Prince Lantis and Tyria. A servant wants to be the lover of Prince Lantis. Someone should have a little shame no matter how A servant wants to be the lover of Prince Lantis. Someone should have a little shame no matter how A servant wants to be the lover of Prince Lantis. I can't talk. A servant wants to be the lover of Prince Lantis? Someone should have a little shame, no matter how shameless she is. It's better to go to sleep right now. She needs to get up early tomorrow morning. Tyria pulled the pillow to put it under her head sooner she fell into a deep sleep. That was a nice sleep. After getting up in the morning, Tyria stretched herself lazily with a yawn. The bright sunshine came in through the window, and birds were singing happily out of the window. Today is another day with good weather to cheer people up. Good morning, Aunt Kresta. Good morning. Where did you sleep the night before? I slept in the dormitory of the palace. I will live in the palace from now on, so Aunt Kresta don't have to wait for me every late fairy night. Oh, I get it. She sat at the table as usual. Aunt Kresta brought her warmly thick soup. After drinking a few mouthfuls of soup, Tyria suddenly noticed something. Aunt Kresta, did you see a piece of paper that I put on this table? That paper? I threw it into the fireplace as rubbish. That was a bitch-ass move, Aunt Kresta. What the fuck? That is the thing I will give to Sheerith today. Her mind got blank instantly and started to stutter. Tyria said so after she drunk up all the water in the glass in one breath. Aunt Kresta, that is a very, very important thing. That's why I put it on the desk on purpose in case I forget it. Is that so? It didn't come to me that's so important to you, so I let it burnt. I am so sorry. Aunt Kresta's face wore an apologetic expression. Tyria wanted to complain it more, but she could say nothing when she saw Aunt Cresta's face. The thing had happened. No matter how hardly she blamed her, the lost thing could not come back again. After sighing deeply, Tyria showed a smile on her face again. Forget it, let it be. Copy it again when I get another chance. Though it was a problem to catch the chance, it will be helpless to worry about it now, and time also will be wasted for worrying. It's better to spend the time on something else than to think about it. So the awkward atmosphere will be dispelled, and she can have another beautiful day. Aunt Cresta, I'm going to work. Tyria refreshed herself and opened the gate, directly walking to her workplace. Why the fuck would my aunt think that that's trash? It's sitting next to my bags, and she's just like, oh, burn. Is some writing here? Burn. Bitch. I don't trust her aunt. She's working for the anime, I can tell. It's a long distance from home to the palace, but it's not a problem for Tyria, for she is full of energy. Tyria speeded up a little. The scene covered by trees and the beautiful cities built by people constantly passed through her eyes. After walking about 30 minutes, Tyria finally arrived at the gate of the palace. That's fucking me up. It was the same guard standing at the gate as the day before yesterday. Tyria stopped. The guard gave Tyria the way to her dormitory without questioning her when he noticed that it was Tyria. He seemed to have remembered what Tyria looks like. Tyria noted and said good morning, but he responded nothing. Maybe he was ruled to do his job well during the work time and was not allowed to communicate with others randomly. She just wanted to get along with him. With a little disappointment, Tyria went through the gate. She wishes she can do the job happily. She won't be perfunctory. Huh? I don't know that word. Is that a word? What the fuck is perfunctory? It's a word.
Perfunctory. Perfunctory.
Perfunctory. An act or gesture. An action or gesture carried out with minimum of effort or reflection. Perfunctory. I've never heard that word. You learn something new every day. Thank you, weirdly translated visual novel. You're teaching me things. She won't be perfunctory about the job, but she would rather to communicate with others than to be silent when she was working. After making up herself in her own little room, Tyria went to the hall. When she arrived, most of the servants had been waiting there. Good morning, Senpai. Good morning. It was a little early right now, but we have to work now. A lot of cloth was delivered to them. On top of them was a cloth with embroidery. It looks very beautiful, mainly patterned with red roses twined by the branches and leaves. So pretty! This cloth had very fine embroidery. So far she had never seen such kind of delicacy embroidery. Tyria, do you have any experience in embroidery? I had never done it before. Senpai's face hardened when she heard her answer her so definitely. Is it? Today we have to finish embroidering all these cloth in any case. All of these need to be done? She couldn't help herself to call it out, but Senpai just answered her casually. Right, what's the matter? You can't make it? No problem, such kind of thing. She said it obstinately, but to admit that I am a layman so I can't make it would be better. But it was too late to think about it after she said that. You're so easy to bite the bait, Senpai whispered. What did you say? She asked. Senpai said nothing. I said nothing and swung her hand, asking me to follow her. I want to like Senpai, but she seems a little sus. Everyone's sus. Vote them out. I'm crewmate, I swear. Are Among Us references still cool? I still like Among Us. That's like 80% of my YouTube recommendations are Among Us videos. It was so elegant that Senpai walked leisurely on the corridor. She just seemed to be not much older than Tyria, but she tells that she had been through very tough training. She had told me that this was one worked the longest time in the palace, but it was when since she had begun to work in the palace. God, the way this is written makes it so hard to read sometimes. I just sit there and I'm like, I am stumbling over my words. Help me. That question was constantly lingering in Tyria's mind. Why does it matter how long she's worked there? Though she wanted to ask about it, but when she decided to open her mouth, she shut it up suddenly, because she felt like Senpai wouldn't communicate with her like the guard except work. Tyria went forward silently, following Senpai. Right here. There's no way one person can embroider all of these. How, didn't she say they had to be done today? Am I crazy? One person, I don't know how much embroidery, but even if it was simple, hand embroidery takes a lot of time. I'm shit at it, and I don't understand. Tyria's gonna fuck this up if she's never done embroidery before. Like, there's no way in hell this is gonna go well. Following Senpai behind the door, there were 2 chairs inside. Sit down. Wish my phone would stop going off with notifications, but I didn't want to set it to do not disturb because I'm still waiting to hear back on my corona test. Senpai sat on one of the chairs and asked her to sit on the other. After Tyria sat down, Senpai spread out the tailor tools brought with her and began to thread a needle. Tyria felt a bang in her heart. Such a delicacy job is what Tyria not good at. Now we will begin to embroider these cloths, which will be used as tablecloths at Prince Lantis' celebration party after a few days. I see. So there shouldn't be any errors or any mistakes. Do you get it? Yeah, I get it. Though she answered very politely, Tyria had to nod her head, for there was no room for refutation. Then, let's begin right now. Aw, that's so cute. Senpai handed the threaded needle to Tyria and began to teach her how to embroider. No, don't put it through there. You should get the needle through from the back. Ah, is that so? Tyria so far had never sewn a clothes, not to mention embroidery. She always let Aunt Cresta dealing with these difficult things. She never did the things she was not good at. But she shouldn't escape from this today. You can do it, she constantly encouraged herself while embroidering. At the first 30 minutes, she was continually blamed by Senpai, but the house began to quiet after she mastered the skill. You can make it when you begin to do it. She felt very happy. It's because Senpai had a better impression about herself. Tyria smiled consciously. It hurts. A bloody point was exuding in the finger from her right hand when she looked at the painful position. It turned out to be pricked by the needle. See, were you thinking of something else? Senpai pressed Tyria's finger with a handkerchief to help her stop the bleeding. Thank you. It's just nothing, but you shouldn't let the blood drop on the embroidered cloth. Right, it must be washed if the cloths were stained. Even so, there might be some traces. Tyria nodded her head after hearing what Senpai said. From then on, Tyria became very careful. Tyria stared closely at the sewing to avoid making another mistake. One needle by another, she deliberately got her needle through the cloth back and forth. Senpai, I finished one. So please embroider the rest cloth the same way. There are about 50 ones left. 50? Because of the over-astonishment, Tyria's voice broke a little. Do you want me to finish it in one day? Figuring in mind how long does it take, Tyria thinking of the problem. If I can't finish it within 8 hours, I have to work overtime. Whirring! I took a deep breath when I felt the pressure. If it goes on like this, it won't be finished. It's hard to calm down such a chaotic brain now, but... Well, the rest is for you. Senpai, you're leaving now? That's for sure. If I'm with you all day long, I can't do other things. Yes, she has other work to do. One person to embroider 50 tablecloths in 8 hours. The fuck? The fuck? Watch Senpai disappeared from eyes, Tyria turned around and faced the cloth again. In my life so far, I have had the opportunity to contact so many fabrics. Well, no. Tyria beat against her cheek twice in order to encourage herself. After that, she picked up the needle and continued sewing. Tick-tock, tick-tock, the ancient clock hung on the wall made a crisp sound. As if cooperating with the sound, the needle and hand flies constantly. Once Tyria concentrated on it, the rest of the world wouldn't bother her. Although she was thinking of it, the reality was different. Just now, the chatting sound of men and women outside constantly flew into Tyria's ears, bothering her and making her unable to concentrate on her work. If you chat, I wish you'd go somewhere else. Tyria's little face crumpled up. Oh, Excellency Lantis, don't do this in public. I will be shy. You don't like to do it here, do you? In that case, let's go to my room, okay? Maybe feeling nobody around, the two persons talked louder and louder. But in Lantis's room there is a jealous lover, isn't it? Lover? Oh, are you talking about Ostermons? Yes, she is very aloof to women. Not knowing that the person in the room was very depressed, the two people were still chatting. Tyria finally stopped the needle. Hey yo, shut the fuck up, I'm working. She quietly approached the window and saw through the window the two people outside. Outside the window, there was a ginkgo tree. Behind the flourishing ginkgo tree, there were two people joyously flirting. Tyria took a closer look and saw the woman next to the prince was not the first one who played with the prince. This woman was dressed in white and pale red princess dress and gold elaborate jewelry. From the clothes she wore, it seemed that she was a lady from a rich family. This guy is flirting with another woman. Now in Tyria's eyes, Lantis is a frivolous prince. Yes, it's terrible, Lord Ostermons, maybe. Now see us in some place. You think too much. Nobody can now disturb us. Lantis' hand slowly wrapped around the woman's waist. It's not good, Excellency Lantis. Feeling a bit ashamed, the woman wriggled her waist and tried to escape from the prince. Lantis did not give her the opportunity to escape and held her more tightly. Tell me the truth, have you done the same thing to many girls? Who told you that? Even in the countryside, there is a rumor like this. Excellency Lantis is not the most giddy man in the world to women. Lantis lifted the jaw of the laughing woman with a frivolous smile. Now that you say so, let me block your pink cherry lips with my own lips. The two people fell into a world of their own. Now if a scene effect is added to Tyria's world, it's just the feeling of petals falling in the air. Those two people in line sight collided together with passion, constantly touching and caressing each other. For Tyria, who worked hard there, it was really annoying. Excellency Lantis, do you only love me? Maybe you shouldn't keep staring, Tyria. Of course, now I can say I love you so much that I can't help it. These two people did not know what kind of mood Tyria was in and indulged in their own world, unable to extricate themselves. Hope they know when to stop. I had hardly just mastered the skill of embroidery. Tyria's inner depression became more and more difficult to control. After the outbreak of the depression the next moment, something extraordinary happened. That's so annoying! Tyria opened the window and shouted to the outside. The frightened two people looked over there. The woman immediately reacted and glared at his side. You don't do your work. What are you looking? My work? Hey, it's because you two are disturbing me. I can't go any further now. Is that so? The woman quietly coughed, standing a little farther away from Lantis. Perhaps she felt that it was not decent to go on. Although Lantis was sad, he knew they couldn't do it again. Yes, it's better for you two to change a place to flirt. Tyria smiled at the woman. The woman turned her face to the other side. It looked as if the good mood had been completely destroyed. Excellency Lantis, thank you for taking the time to accompany me today. I'll leave now. Unexpectedly, she was a decent lady. Looking at the woman with a white sun umbrella and graceful steps, Lantis sighed helplessly. Why do you always turn up at my best time? This is the second time. I forgot that the glass I had here was flavored sparkling water. I just thought it was regular water, and I just was very surprised when I took a drink. These were the words Tyria wanted to say. These are the words I want to say. Why do you always turn up when I want to work and disturb my work? Why? It's because you like me, so you disturb my work. What were you thinking about? Tyria just wanted to do her job well. But it was said by Prince that she wanted to make out with him, so her depression was out of control. Huh, what the nonsense? How could that be? When she was out of control and roared, Lantis suddenly put his hands on the window. Hey, what are you going to do? Prince wanted to enter into the room from the window with the strength of his own hands. One or two steps back with panic, Lantis entered into the room. When I was young, I used it as my back door and often sneaked out of the palace to play. You have done such barbarous things. You are indeed a prince. Poof, I'm a barbarous prince. Now, this kind of behavior has become a habit subconsciously. Even if I say you break into other people's rooms so casually, Lantis didn't mind about walking around the room and sitting down on the chair the senpai just sat. In fact, with a self-assured, superlicious manner, his behavior was very natural and easy. Indeed, as a prince, he was born with charisma. Is this? After seeing a pile of material piled up in the basket on the table, Lantis asked, "This is the tablecloth used for the evening party recently to be held for the celebration of the Prince Lantis." Lantis sighed, and then inadvertently smiled. "Are you glad to have a party?"
Of course, in this way I can, as a member of the royal family, be accepted by everybody.
Yes, in that case, you're really looking forward to it.
Lantis smiled and nodded when heard Tyria's words, but suddenly he seemed to remember something. "You don't seem to speak to me with respectful address."
Lantis's words suddenly reminded Tyria. The man who sat opposite was the prince. This had been totally forgotten. For the rude words in the past, can I ask your excellency to forget them? Organized the words in a fluster, Tyria uttered a sentence even more ridiculous.
"What are you talking about? The tone just now."
Of course, the strange tone just now was laughed at by the prince. "Oh, how strange, it shouldn't be like this."
"In fact, you don't have to speak to me with respectful address. They all use honorifics to me. I'm tired of listening to it."
"Really?"
"There is someone who speaks the same way as I do. That is fresh and exciting for me."
"Fresh and exciting?" I thought there was something wrong with this statement.
"Hey, Tyria, Libby has been driven back by you just now. Can you now be my companion?"
The woman by the name of Libby should be referring to the lady a moment ago. From his arrogant tone of voice, it seemed that he had no heart for that woman. "With you? I'm with you right now, isn't it?"
"No, I'm not talking about that kind of company."
"I'm busy, bitch. Your tablecloth. Are you touching me? Bitch. I'm trying to work on your tablecloths for your stupid party, and you're just like, play with me. No, leave me alone. I'm busy." Suddenly her wrist was pulled. Tyria was pulled into Lantis's arms. At this moment, the moment when Lantis' lips were about to kiss her neck, Tyria sighed softly. She particularly spoke with the tone Lantis could hear. "Get rid of it anyway, I'm tired of it."
"What?"
When I sneered with those words, Lantis froze there motionlessly. It must be because I read his mind, so he was just speechless.
"At that time, did you hear my words?"
"What words are we talking about? I'm confused."
"Did he say this at some point?" "That's just a phrase, as a bluff in front of my mother."
"Really?" Lantis's words were unreliable. I suspected him to a certain extent.
"If you get tired of it." Oh, he was talking about women with his mom earlier. Okay. Sure, bud. Sure. I trust you. I believe you.
"If you get tired of it, just throw it away, though I say so. But the one who really gets tired of being abandoned is me." By saying that, Lantis gave me a wry smile. His smile looked lonely. Tyria kept silent and said nothing. What? Wouldn't that make me sway my idea? Although I have seen him smile and bicker, his gloomy expression I never saw. Like an abandoned puppy, he stared at Tyria. He gave such an expression which made me feel guilty. "My words are finished. I have work to do. Do not disturb me." Getting rid of the thought of self-accusation, I said so to Lantis. This was not a lie. Because there was work waiting for me to finish, there was no time to talk with Lantis. I broke free from his arms, sat on the chair, and continued the needle embroidery, although Lantis observed silently. Soon he sat on the chair beside and stared at Tyria. "Hey, I have said do not disturb me."
"I'm just looking at you. It doesn't affect you, does it?"
Although perhaps he did not affect me, his staring at me always distracting me. Lantis just stared at Tyria doing embroidery. I just couldn't figure out what he was thinking. It hurts, I got pricked again. Because I've been wondering what the trouble guy sitting next to me was thinking, the needle pricked the finger. I looked at my index finger. It was bleeding red blood. While trying to wrap my finger in a handkerchief borrowed from Senpai, my hand was seized by a hand that was outstretched from the side. "What are you doing?"
"Sterilizing for you."
Okay, I stabbed myself on the hand? I figured it was like on a fingertip. Why is he like... You know, it was fine with the dudes drinking the blood in Hakuoki, and I'm sure there's been lots of like vampire otames where the dudes are like, blah, 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 you know. This dude's just fucking drinking my blood for no reason. No goddamn reason. Bro, I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask you to just lick my hand. Ugh. It took several seconds for me to understand what Lantis meant. What? When I recovered, Lantis's lips have already kissed on the wound. I was so surprised that I could not say a word. Let me go. Kissed my lips softer than expected, Tyria could not restrain her vacillation. This game uses too many big words for my small brain.
Vacillation.
Vacillation, the inability to decide between different opinions or actions. Indecision. Although all efforts had been made to dodge, she trembled slightly for this kiss. It was probably because of the awareness that Lantis has also become a mature man. He always gives people the impression that he is a man with gorgeous clothes and not good at quarreling. When Tyria muttered secretly, Lantis's action gradually became more intense. The moment his tongue came out, his tongue began to indecently lick the wound, so he hadn't been tonguing it before, but he is now. Great. Just peachy, just what I wanted out of this. Yay. The moment his tongue came out, his tongue began to indecently lick the wound. Involuntarily, a sweet, delicate breath came out from Tyria's mouth with a slight nasal sound. In panic, Tyria covered her mouth with the other hand. This was the first time that man did such a thing to her. Just because it was the first time, Tyria didn't know what to do with it. Punch him. After all, she was never hand-in-hand with a man, so it was natural that Tyria got lost. If Tyria was angry, generally speaking, the man would be beaten, but this time was not so. Now Tyria was more frightened than angry. I don't like that she's scared. I would have accepted it if she was just like, I like it, but she's scared. I don't like this. Just constantly feeling the touch and tightly closing her eyes. Have I played an otome so far on the channel that didn't have some form of dubious consent? I feel like I'm just exposing you guys to only otome games that are sketch as hell. Like, Seven Scarlet was like even a well-written, like well-made one. Like, it's a real game. But it just so happened that the route I played on the channel was the yandere. So, I just want to clarify that not every otome game has dubious consent. I know, and I'm sure I will play one on the channel eventually that it'll just be like, oh, look how nice this is, you know, oh, it's cute, everyone's happy, and everything is consensual, and you don't get locked in a basement for weeks. Yay. Okay, back to this. Well, it's over. Listening to what he said as if nothing had happened, Tyria froze there. When she opened her eyes, Lantis' smile appeared in front of her. He is quite different now, and he doesn't seem to be the same person like before. One cannot help wondering if he was another person. Tyria's arm was suddenly released, and she stood in amazement. Well, I'm gonna leave. Cheer up for work. Lantis left with a big smile. He never turned his head back. When Lantis disappeared on the other side of the door, Tyria suddenly felt tired. What happened? Tyria felt lost inside. Later on, she inadvertently looked at the clock and almost shouted out. It's been an hour after that. What happened? It was just talking to Lantis that had already wasted an hour. Tyria quickly resumed to work on the embroidery. It was a quiet, lonely space with no one to talk to. The sun shone into the dim window. Tyria's fingers were busy at working. Time was fleeting. Time flies. I'm gonna go ahead and leave this episode here. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, feel free to leave a like or a subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.